What's up, legends? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, literally whatever time you're watching this. I'm so glad that we got a chance to come together and connect again. Yeah, y'all, I'm gonna be completely honest. The background for where we usually do the vlog, one of my pictures keeps falling down. I haven't found the right tape to like have it stay up on the wall, so that's kind of a big reason why like I've been hesitant to do another vlog in that setting. I'm just very like, I don't know, I'm very attached to the aesthetics at this point. Like, I just like routine. Don't mess up my routine. But anyways, y'all, here we are. We gonna keep the vlog going. It's really not stopping nothing at the end of the day. So I really just wanted to come to y'all real quick and just talk about perspective, connotations, and ideas, right? I was on, what was I on? I was on YouTube, and this was actually somebody's intro to their video. They had a clip. Whoa, there we go. Okay, so what I'm calling this is a tower moment because something literally just fell. So I feel like this is representative of a tower moment, which is telling me that at this very moment, or after watching this video, a lot of you guys, your perspective is absolutely going to change. The way that you think about life is going to change, and the way that you think about yourself is absolutely going to shift and transform. Right? And I say that with all of the confidence in my being. So the clip was of Kanye West. He was at, I'm not sure if it was at a concert, but he was definitely on a stage, and the person that was recording the video was in the crowd. So they were standing up kind of towards the front, but not at the very front, right? So Kanye goes on to say in the clip, he says, Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. She just took them to go work for other white people. And the girl in the audience says, okay, we're leaving now. Okay, it's time to go, right? And then the person whose video it was actually on YouTube, then their personal intro started after the clip. So I just had to pause it. I had to pause that video because I said, wow, he spoke facts, but I could see how so many people would get offended by that because they don't really understand the complexity of our society and the way we've developed over time. So to be completely honest, well, first of all, let me start out with this. Harriet Tubman absolutely freed the slaves, right? That's facts. She absolutely took a lot of them through the Underground Railroad. I want to say she was the one that founded it. Now, I don't want to misspeak, but when you think about the Underground Railroad, you automatically think about Harriet Tubman. It's damn near a movie or a book title called Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad. That's her whole thing, right? Freeing the slaves, bringing them from the South to the North, right? Fun fact. There's actually a museum, I believe it's the last stop. If not the last stop, then it's one of the last stops, or maybe the stop before the last, before the slaves were officially in the free land, right? The free territory. That museum or that building is still open in Detroit as a museum, and it's able to be visited. It's in like Midtown or downtown. I'm not quite sure which one, but it's very much the same area. Oh, so regardless, she absolutely did that. Like, you feel me? No, I was just talking to Harriet Tubman too. I was like, Miss Harriet, we absolutely cannot we can't take the credit away from you for literally doing something that was absolutely illegal at the time. It was, y'all already know slavery was legal. They had all of these structures in place to stop the slaves from being able to run away to freedom, or if we don't want to say run away, we could say escape, right? Escape the current system that was going on in the South. So obviously, we cannot take away the prestige, the courageousness, and the just the overall capacity of change that here we can't take anything away from her. You know, if anything, we give her more flowers, right? Because if you look at it in terms of evolution and progression, right? Not how was anybody supposed to know that if you are currently going through a situation like slavery, and that's all you know, and you just heard that if you get to a certain place, right, then everything is going to be different, you're going to be free. Of course you're not thinking that it's going, no, you're not thinking nothing. You really just trying to escape from where you at. Like, let's be honest. What I'm thinking about right now is giving survival mode, right? You're thinking about escaping where you are right now, and anything is better than this, right? Even death for a lot of people. But for others, they wasn't gonna die. They wasn't gonna just give up that easy, right? And there's honestly nothing wrong with either choice, because the soul makes the choice, the perfect choice for it to do its proper learning and its proper progression at the time being, right? So we can't say either choice was right or wrong or weak or strong, and all of that really doesn't exist anyways. Those are 3D terms that we use to try to understand things, and we end up being more confused. Hence why we're here. Right? So we're gonna give Miss Harriet all of her credits, all of her flowers, hearts, stars, and if I could, galaxies. Matter of fact, I know it's some atoms out there listening in other galaxies, and I know that they're giving Miss Harriet her flowers right now, just off the strength that we're literally talking about this and discussing it. There was no way for the people, there was no way for them to be able to predict the future. Do you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, if we think about this in terms of us, right? Kanye said she didn't free the slaves. She just sent them to work for other white people. Okay, that's true. That's also facts, right? That is also facts. There was no way for them to know that that was going to be the case. The only way for them to figure it out was to live through it. In terms of us, right? You get a new job. You start a new hobby, right? You find something, you see something, it looks really nice. You know, other people are doing it. You feel like you're aligned. You're like, yeah, I want to start doing this, right? I want to start participating in this. There's no way for you to know anything that comes along with it, baby, until you experience it. That's just not how the world works. Especially if you add in the fact that, you know, a lot of times when we make these changes, we're going around a different group of people. That's a different culture, right? That's a different energy. They have different practices, beliefs, traditions. At the end of the day, damn near each of us do individually if we want to get real. So you have to add in the fact that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just a process of human evolution. So boom, this is how it relates to us in evolution. We got to stop shaming ourselves and blaming ourselves for the situation that we got into, or that we entered into, or that we found ourselves in, right? The place that we found ourselves in. We got to stop shaming ourselves and giving ourselves grief for being at this place, because we thought the idea was a little bit more fictitious than the reality, right? The idea was a little bit more glittery, right? They say everything that glitters ain't gold, right? I'm sure all of the slaves thought that when they got to the north, it was going to be peaches and cream. Or even not peaches and cream, but I'm sure they wasn't expecting what they got. You know? I'm sure they wasn't expecting it still to be ingrained in the law and engraved in the law. The mistreatment, the disrespect. I'm sure that when you entered into this new timeline, You didn't expect to see a lot of the same characteristics, if not the same, then a little bit more turned up. And it almost seems like it's asking for more of you, because it is. This is still an evolution. You still brought about a huge change, right? You have to still give yourself credit for going out into the wilderness, for going out into the darkness, for going out into the unknown and being willing to explore. You have to give yourself credit for that, because you are in a new space. You did do what you said you was gonna do, and you did it well. Look at you. You did it very well. But don't blame yourself for the things that come along with it, with the new space, because there was no possible way for you to be able to predict the future. You only had an idea. There's no way that you can even like visualize and manifest something that you have never seen. That's actually scientific. There's scientific research behind that. If you try this too, and you probably can't even, like, somebody would have to give you a word, because if you can think about it, I'm sure you can visualize it. That's the whole point. If I say let me see. I'm trying to think of a word in another language. Oh Lord, pastel, right? Excuse me if you speak Spanish and I just butchered this, but pastel, right? If I say pastel, right? ¿Tú tienes pastel? If you don't know what the hell I just said, there's no way that you can visualize what I'm talking about, because you have no idea what the hell I said, right? If you are not familiar with the thing, there's no way that you can accurately visualize the thing and accurately manifest that, because you don't even know what the fuck that is. Do you know what I'm saying? So us trying to manifest ideas, you have to know that when you add in humans and the way that we socialize, right? And you just think realistically about the way that we have evolved, right? The word slavery, the way that we think about being a slave now is completely different. I mean, of course there are different meanings, but I'm saying the average. Oh wow, I keep forgetting we international, y'all. Shout out to our international followers. Y'all, I live in America, so sometimes when y'all hear me going hard, it's just some American shit. Like you, and I'm sure you're familiar. I'm sure you're familiar. I feel like the U.S. is, I don't know, let me stop talking about it. We have to stop shaming and guilting ourselves for not being able to predict the future, because at the end of the day, even those that we hold in the absolute highest regard, if we were to look at their stories dialectically, right, I'm sure we can find some pushback. I'm sure there's a decent amount of pushback in everybody's legacy, literature, whatever, narrative, honestly. Because to be revolutionary and to be legendary, you have to act in your duality, which ultimately is gonna have a split, you know, I guess a split decision or a split feeling between the people, the masses, the audiences, right? Because everybody believes different things. So I'm not gonna talk to y'all. I always say this. I'm not gonna hold y'all forever. But I did just want to pop in and give y'all that example, because that really kind of hit me a little bit unexpectedly. I wasn't expecting to get that message this morning, but I'm glad that it came, because I feel like it is so important for us to realize and recognize when we are giving ourselves too much slack for something that is uncontrollable, right? We were talking about controlling our controllables, and the uncontrollables, you're going to give it to spirit. Don't be passive about the emotions that come with the uncontrollables, right? I've been studying stoicism a lot lately, right? So they talk about a lot of indifference. They talk about things that you can control. That's where the focus goes. The things that you can't control, if you focus there, you ultimately, like, you're going to become unproductive. Because you're literally focused on things that you can't control. So the only thing, I feel like one of the biggest things that we can control is the way that we speak to ourselves, and the way that we treat ourselves, and the way that we comfort ourselves, and the way that we nurture ourselves, the way that we show ourselves compassion in the moments where we struggle. Because there can be no change if everything is good. You're gonna be comfortable. You're gonna be satisfied. Why does anything need to change? You know what I'm saying? Why does change need to come if all is well? No, change comes through struggle. But you make the struggle a lot lighter. You lighten your load by focusing on the controllables, right? And one of the biggest ways that we can focus on the controllables is just working with our emotions to help support us, right? When we feel those negative emotions, just address it. It's okay. It's okay that they come, the grief, the shame. That's normal. But work through it, right? Give yourself the other option, right? Have a little dialectical debate about yourself, because it's never always one thing. It's never always one thing. It might be 2 or 3 things at the very least. I love y'all. I love y'all so much. I love y'all so much. Stay blissful, stay peaceful, stay calm, stay grounded, and stay divine. And most of all, stay legendary. Period. Y'all know I couldn't hold that for too long. Alright, I'll see y'all in the next video. I love you. I love you to the moon, to Saturn, to Pluto, to Mercury, to Uranus. Because I feel like this message was ruled by Uranus. Okay? Have a great day. Night, evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. And I'll catch you in the next video. Like the video if this helped you. And please subscribe to the channel, because we're always going to be here. We're not going nowhere. Okay, so you might as well subscribe. For sure. And you know you're coming back too. Alright? Have a blessed one. Peace, y'all.